What is going on, everybody? This is Johnny King with another episode of the Becoming Kings podcast. And talk about kings, I've got an amazing guest for us today, Dr. Chau Ong, coming all the way from Texas. And he's going to talk to us about making money, Airbnb, which if you're a fan of the show, you've heard me talk a lot about. I'm definitely a geek about Airbnb, but good to have you on, man. Thanks for being willing to jump on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I love it. We come from similar circles in some respects in terms of Tony Robbins. We're definitely fans, and I see you're just you're on fire, man, in terms of just your energy, what you put out there on social media. I know a little bit of your story just in terms of, immigrating over when you said you were 10 years old and trying a lot of different businesses. You kind of thought maybe that, and I'll let you kind of put it into your own words, that maybe the American dream was to be pursued in one direction, and you've pivoted really beautifully throughout your life to find greater levels of fulfillment. And I think that's what this podcast is all about. Not only making money and being quote unquote successful, but really being happy and fulfilled. Right. So again, thanks for being here, but why don't you give everyone who doesn't know you, maybe listening or watching on YouTube, like a little bit more of your backstory with, what life was like before 10 years old, what the vision was and coming to America. Give a little bit more of your story, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me, and great to connect with everybody. Super grateful to be here. I come from very humble beginning. We're from a third world country and came to America at 10 years old. My parents dropped everything, start over. Although they were successful in their country, when they come here, we all had to stay in a one-bedroom apartment. Wow. We all had to sleep on one bed. Me, my sister, my mom, my dad. Wow. And then none of us speak any English, and we come to South Carolina, of all places, where there was no diversity whatsoever.
Right.
So, needless to say, we were just shocked. And then, adapting to the culture, the language and everything took a few years. Do a lot of labor job for my mom and dad. They're superheroes. And we just, build it from there. Eventually, basically what we thought would the American dream, becoming a doctor. And get that education. I got my MBA as well. So, I went through eight years of schooling, over $350,000 in school loans.
Wow.
And graduated, thought I made it. I was like, woohoo, I'm going to be financial free. I'm going to take care of mom and dad. I'm going to retire them, travel around the world. Next thing I know, I was just working like a slave, to me anyway, because I feel like I never had any freedom with this. Like, is this the freedom that my dad fought for in the Vietnam War? Is this the freedom that they drop everything to come to America for? Where I had to just drive an hour to work, an hour back, get burned out, and get corporate America breathing down my neck all day. And just watch me how many seconds does it take for me to pump out the pills instead of how well can I take care of the patient. Right? So I feel like it was like a pill mill. I was a pharmacist, instead of like a patient care center, right? So basically, I had a lot of things that was just putting down on me, and I wanted to really take care of my parents and all of that. And I was only making like $120K a year, $10K a month, which might sound a lot to people, but after taxes and after student loans and everything, I was just barely getting by. I mean, I was just barely got enough to just live. What else can I do? So then I looked into a bunch of everything from all kind of real estate strategy, flipping to multifamily to storage. I took all the classes from billboards to mobile home parks to whatever you name it. I fly and I pay, and I invested over $200,000 into myself.
Wow.
And also try like drop shipping, Amazon, FBA, crypto, all kind of things, right? You know, they are, you know, it might work for some people here, and I pray that it work for you guys. That's great. It didn't really work for me because
Mm-hmm.
it was not my thing. First of all, a lot of the real estate strategies out there require a lot of capital,
Yeah.
right? Or a lot of time. I did not
Mm-hmm.
have both. I did
Mm-hmm.
not have either. Okay. I was working like, you know, 40 something hours, super stressful job, driving an hour back. So that's another 10 hours driving,
Jeez.
right?
Yep.
And then sometimes I pick up shift because I want to make some extra money. So,
Mm.
you know, so anyway, basically no time, no extra income to really invest. So how can I do this real estate thing? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So then I went, thank God I went to a seminar that is, and I met somebody that gave me an epiphany. The epiphany was I could rent a vacant home and I can just sublet it on Airbnb and other platform and get the arbitrage. Is
Mm-hmm.
the difference between what our clients pay us versus what we pay to lease out the property long term.
Right.
For those, you know, for those that don't understand, but so that arbitrage is quite a lot. It's like 1,000 at the time. It was like $1,000 a month. Now it's like 2,000 a month. But
Mm-hmm.
at the time, $1,000 a month per pop. I only needed 10 properties to replace my income, to get
Totally.
financial freedom. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's properties that I don't even own. I don't have to rehab. I don't have to do any of that. I just rent it out. I furnish it, make it look nice, and then I sublet it out on Airbnb
Mm-hmm.
and other platform. And that's all I had to do. Very simple stuff. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
can do it. Anybody can get it. It's just I never thought about it. And I took all these courses. I was like 30 at a time. I never heard about it, right? I mean, like, oh my God, blow my mind. I can't believe I never
Yeah.
thought about this. And my
Yeah.
mom and dad, you know, we know a lot of people in real estate as well. But anyway, so with that, fast forward, in only 12 months, I scaled to 20 Airbnb sublet arbitrage, and I
Wow.
replaced my income, you know, and got my freedom. Boom, done. 12 months. What I, you know, if I do any other strategy that I know of, probably gonna take me like 20 years.
Right.
You
Right.
know, if I'm gonna buy a home, right, which we did try to do that too and do long term. It's like how long would it take for me to buy another one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to save it up. I'm gonna have to live lean and mean, you know, for the next 2 years to buy another one. And then how much cash flow do we get? We get another $1,000. Okay, so I need 10 more. So that's gonna take me
Mm-hmm.
another 20 years, right? Years to buy
Mm-hmm.
one, right? So I'm like, bro, like my mom was having cancer at the time. I don't have
Mm.
how much time she got. I gotta do this now. That's a lot of leverage, right? So I
Yeah.
gotta take care of her now. I want to, you know, give everything for her and be with her, and not have to do the 9 to 5.
Totally.
So you know, so that's why it's really fuel me. And I was working full time and do this business basically full time too for that 1 year. But after that, it's just financial freedom.
If I can interrupt, I love
Yeah.
that. And I want to get into some of the strategy, but I'm still always fascinated too, because I feel like so much of what the intrinsic or the intangible drivers that I can just pick up in you that I don't necessarily see in everyone. And I think of a lot of men that I work with are always looking for that X factor. But you have the drive, right? And did that come from the hardships of when you were a little guy, seeing your parents work super hard? What gave you that drive to just want to you're relentless, you know, in your desire to achieve the lifestyle that you want, right?
Yes, that is a
But you,
beautiful question.
so
Yeah.
what was the driver and what?
Absolutely. For the artists, for everyone out there, this is the key. Always stay hungry, always stay foolish, right? So how and why? Because I mean, we had to start over, came over here with nothing, right? And I know that their sacrifices, I watch them work day and night, you know, sacrificing everything for me, right? For me to go to school and everything. So I didn't want to let them down. Okay. I didn't want to let myself down because I know I can do better than this, right? So that is a big driver for me, definitely.
Yeah.
And you know, and the other big driver is just know that, hey, I gotta be the man. I gotta be the man of my life, of my family, and provider and protector and all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
And that need resource. Without resources, we have to be resourcefulness, but we need to be resourcefulness in order to have enough resources to do bigger things. Does my life matter? Am I loved? Is the two biggest question, right? So, and those are my key drivers. Yeah.
Oh man. If you don't mind me asking too, what was talk about leverage. What was the driving force to take your family, your parents, to uproot, come out of, Vietnam or Asia or wherever you kind of originate from, to come all the way over to the US? Obviously opportunity was what was at the end of, or was the carrot, but why were things so bad back at home, or what was the driving force to push your family out of your home country?
Absolutely. So, it's quite a corrupt country, a lot of corruptions happening, communist, socialist. So you can just imagine how that would be like, right?
Yeah.
Although they done well there, but they had to do a lot of, a lot of activities that are not quite up to their ethical standards, but they have to do it because they're in that environment, in order
they're in that. It's like that's the game that they're playing. And if you're gonna, then you almost have to sacrifice your sense of integrity just to play the game, right?
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah.
And kudos on them, because they gave up all their wealth to have their integrity, basically. And they want us to have integrity as well. That's why they sacrifice everything and move us over here, because they want us to grow up in a good environment.
Yeah. See, that's so cool though too, because obviously that gives me a little background, on anyone who's listening or watching, greater sense as to like your upbringing, that integrity was so important to your parents and so important to instill in you and your sister, that I can only imagine. And again, but so much of that probably comes through your work. It's why you're successful. It's how you're able to support clients. Like if they're people of integrity, then they're going to be successful. But if they're not, then you probably will fire them, or not, it's just not a good fit to work with you. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love all the stuff that you stepped into. And I, likewise, people who are close to me know that I'm talking about like, oh, storage units, and, look at that dog kennel. I wonder how much money they're making, and, dry cleaning, and all of the non-sexy kind of blue collar businesses here in the US that sometimes people forget about, because it's not, like I said, sexy. It's not online, But when it comes to your kind of Airbnb VRBO strategy, for someone who's listening and they're like, yeah, I've got, maybe I've got time, I can put in sweat equity, but I don't have $200,000 to throw at buying a new home, especially here in Denver, when homes are like, the average home is like $500,000, right? So how do they go about just getting started? When I also have heard other people say they've tried this, but now landlords are starting to get a little bit keen on as to this arbitrage area, this idea, and they're like, no, get out of here. How do you get your foot in the door and get started with your first property? Is it finding the right city, finding the right? Maybe you can walk listeners and myself through that.
So there's so many people is doing Airbnb now, and there's so many people teaching Airbnb arbitrage, but I don't know anybody that's teaching corporate housing arbitrage. That's what I focus on. That's what differentiates us, because we don't just do Airbnb. We helping medical professionals, right? We're helping insurance housing for families who need a place to stay and their home get damaged, and insurance will pay, and they pay very well. They're obligated to pay under contract.
Right.
And then we have companies who relocate their employees or coming in for a job on site, and they need a group of employees to do that, right? And the companies pay super well, 10 times less headache, 10 times less work, because our average stay is about 3-4 months instead of 3-4 nights. Right. So I ran 20 vacation rental at the time. Like I was doing 20 vacation rental. After that, I was like, it's not a full-time job. It's like I'll be like pulling my hair out, So it's better than the corporate job, but it's still a job. Totally. So I was like, how can I free myself? So then eventually I just ran into booking corporate clients, and I, go down that rabbit hole. And basically, long story short, that's all I've been focusing on. And that's what really got me financial freedom, because I'm able to manage over 30 plus corporate housing now. And I only spend about maximum 5 hours a week.
Okay.
Right. Each of them cash flow around $2,000 a month each. So that's pretty good income for that amount of time. Right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so much easier for me and my mentees, because we figured out that we go to these homeowners and tell them we do corporate housing. We don't just do Airbnb. If they ask if Airbnb, would be upfront with them. Yes, that's one of our sources. However, our minimum stay, if you want to, it could be minimum is 30 nights, right? Or at least 14 nights. So that way, it's not a lot of transient in and out. And then we're going to take care of your property super well. Any minor thing, we're not going to call you middle of the night. We're just going to fix it. And there's a budget we can pay for it, like up to $200 a month, right? And then we also belong to a network of corporate housing providers. Altogether is over 100 properties, combined experience of over 20 years. And then we have a professional website. We have all our partners' website in there as well, so they know it's legit, and they see a lot of people too. So that's how we be able to help a lot of our clients to get their homes left and right. I mean, I just one of our best success stories. I have a single mom. Well, I mean, a full-time mom. She has a full-time job as well. She got 4 in her first 30 days.
Wow.
Right. So that's like $8K a month, and they all booked within 30 days of it's going live.
Okay? Wow.
And now she's at number 7. Okay. Yeah. So, she's about to quit her job. She became one of our coaches now. So it's a great story. And
that's really cool. That's really cool.
That's what it's all about. Helping the regular, ordinary people like me do extraordinary things.
Right. And they can do it in any market, in any city in the US, or I would imagine maybe there's better cities than others, but maybe not.
Of course. Great question. So they can definitely do it in any major cities. The bigger the cities, the better. Okay. And as far as where, then we have to dig down into the local market, right? Analyze the market, what's going on and everything. Of course, there are some cities that are better than the other ones and all of that. But I always tell people, start where you are at, because you already have a lot of experience where you are.
Sure.
You already know the market, you already know the area, right? There's always a need for families when their home get damaged or they do renovation. There's always a need for professionals come in and out. So yeah.
I mean, here in Denver, there was some fires earlier this year that just was crazy, like 100-mile-an-hour winds with, these fires in the middle of the winter time. It was really weird. And people lost their homes like crazy up north here. And so there's a lot of people that have obviously been displaced. So that would be a good example of people who need, some type of housing. Right.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this too. Are you, with this strategy, are you making a little bit less, less money, offering it over a longer period of time, let's say minimum 14, if not 30 to 60 to 90 days or longer, than if you were doing the normal traditional Airbnb? Because I've mentioned on my show, I'll make anywhere from like $5,000 to $9,000 gross per property. But of course, it's a lot of turnover, a lot of cleaning fees, it's a lot of effort, right? But I don't think someone would come in, like a traveling nurse wouldn't come in and rent my place for $7,000 for the month,
Right,
so they would,
right.
So it's just probably less, you have less expenses or less cleaning fees, you have less. So you take, maybe, well, explain that to me. How does that work? Cause it's gotta be a little bit different approach than the normal Airbnb or VRBO approach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, when I was doing vacation rental, you do get like more per night. However, you get a lot of gap in between the stays.
Totally.
Right.
Like I do.
So the average occupancy, like what's your occupancy rate?
I gosh, I probably should know it. And it varies between winter and summer, you know, but like right now, kind of in between when there's less skiing up in Colorado, at least the one here in Denver, is probably 60%. I'm probably wasting 40 to 50% of the month. Yeah.
60% is actually good for vacation rental.
Okay.
The industry standard average is about 30 to 50%.
Okay.
Yeah. So versus our occupancy rate is about 70 to 90%.
Right. Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that is one thing. That's why it worked. And also the other thing is it's 10 times less to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all about freedom, right? It's all about financial and mental freedom too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, whenever I have a corporate client, a company, they book for 3, 4, 5 months. What do I gotta do in those 3, 4, 5 months?
Yeah. Nothing really.
You know?
Yeah.
If they have an issue, I just tell my assistant to call the plumber, to call the electrician, whatever. My assistant take care of it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's super, super like night and day, like heaven on earth for me anyway.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm doing 30, right? When you have a couple, yes, you can handle vacation rental here and there, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to scale to over 10 or more, you know, then I would highly recommend doing this to make more income, to, you know, have more freedom and all of that. Yeah.
Right. I feel like if you're going to scale, and correct me if I'm wrong, then you really have to be clear on processes. You got to be really clear on having like a team, right? People who are going to help. Like you said, you can put off to this person. You're not carrying all that on your own shoulders, right? Exactly. Otherwise you'd be going crazy.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it doesn't need to be a lot of people. You just need one good manager, a good maid, like a team of maids. But you only really managing the manager and the maid, and then you only need like a good handyman, right?
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
That's about it. So you kind of have your team, if you will, in each city or each area that you're doing this, right? What's the average? Well, let me ask you this. When did you first kind of come up with this idea, like you talked about at a seminar? When did you first kind of think about starting to do this? Was this pretty recent?
Met somebody at a seminar gave me the idea of Airbnb arbitrage, and that's Tiffany. And then, you know, when I had 20 vacation rental, I was like pulling my hair out. So, you know, I was like, there gotta be a better way to get both money and freedom. So then I just thought about it myself, like, oh, why don't I just host corporate housing? They seem to be the best clients. I mean, guess how many evictions I had to do over 7 years doing this, 30 properties for corporate clients.
0.
Is that right?
Is that right? Yeah. That's awesome.
0.
Yeah. I would imagine it's 0 just from the standpoint of like, they are professionals, right? They're there for like, there's just a lot more guaranteed.
Right.
Anyways, I think that's pretty cool. Okay. So you've been doing it for 7 years.
Yeah.
And more of maybe the corporate housing approach more in the last several years, right?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Yeah. How did things go throughout the pandemic? Obviously, people were not traveling and everything else.
Great question. So I'm very thankful. I did focus mostly on corporate housing because during the pandemic, as you know, a lot of Airbnb, even the biggest company that do vacation rental, shut down. I know a lot of them, a lot of my friends, a lot of big company, like the thousands of units worldwide, right? They actually shut down. It's crazy. Or like the best is like they lose like 50% of you know their income overnight, which is like crap. With us, since we have the longest stay, we only lost about 15 to 20%.
Wow.
That's it, right? So we can weather the storm very well. And afterward, it came back big time, you know? It definitely came back very, very well as well. So,
What I think I like about this strategy too, though, is it's you really, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you have to kind of educate your clients and be like, this is not about being greedy. This is not about making, you know, thousands upon thousands. Like if you can average, let's say at least 1,000 or more per property per month, and you just duplicate it and scale it, then, that's good. And you're really focusing on the long-term play of like lifestyle,
Mhm.
not just like tons and tons of income. Cause like you said, you had 20 properties, 10 properties, 20 properties, you're pulling your hair out because it's not even worth it at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like,
like I don't care. It's just, I just want to be happy. Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. So you have your manager, allows you to obviously not have to go in and do a corporate gig or being a pharmacist, right? Allows you to have the freedom to travel the world or go to other seminars or meet other people and do all the various other things that you want to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super grateful to join Tony Robbins Platinum Partners, which you were part of. And it's really, really life-changing, and we travel around the world, do amazing things, and, cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But hey, it's the best experience of your life, right? And also bought my mom and dad their dream home.
So cool.
The background right there. It's they love it. And I take care of them to this day. They live with me. And then took my wife to travel around the world as well. We went on an
awesome.
around the world trip for over a month. Went to all the places that we dream of, like Europe, Bali, Asia, Australia.
Wow.
And during that month, I was actually had to pinch myself because I was actually making several times more than I was making as a doctor, while not even working at all. Like I was working like an hour a day. I'm like this for real? Is this like I actually done it? Like this is the dream come true. Like I actually tested it. It actually worked. The whole month. It's amazing. And I'm still making amazing income, right? I got back and everything was still good. Yeah, I mean, it's great. So I was like, well, now what? I got everything I wanted. What's next for me? So I did a lot, Tony Robbins stuff. And what's next for me is contribution, right? Because I do want to give back. I do want to share this with other people to give them that freedom to experience this and help their families out as well, right? And live life on the highest level, because we were meant to come here to the earth this is our playground, right? Love is our legacy. Okay. So we are not meant to just slave away at a 9 to 5 all our lives. And then nobody remember us when we're gone. We know we're here to make an impact, make a difference. And then that's why it took me a few years after that to develop my mastermind, my course, and helping a lot of people along the way as well. So I'm super grateful about everything.
That's so cool. So cool. I guess my thought then goes to as well, like maybe you can speak a little bit more to your coaching, to your training, because obviously there's so much that is strategy focused, like the how to, but there's so much of that mental shift of going from an employee mindset to like, oh wait, I don't actually have to show up to transfer my hours, my presence into money. I can actually be traveling the world and still be making money. Like that's, people intellectually get it, but I don't think they really embody it because it's such it's like, what? But I went to school for all this stuff. And how can I actually, talk a little bit more about maybe both the strategies that maybe you teach, but it's also like the mindset shifts. Cause I think that's obviously the big part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So 80% of success is mindset, right? That's what Tony Robbins said. And 20% of the strategy and the tactical stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a lot of mindset, limiting belief, mindset shift. And it's coming from a lot of our upbringing or a lot of background. But one thing you want to think about is how is money created? Money is created through value exchange. Right. So the more value you can provide to the marketplace, the more money you're going to make. We are all valuable in the sight of God, right? But what we bring to the marketplace is totally, it could be anything. Okay. So the way that we need to think, how can I provide the most value to the most amount of people? Okay. So Bill Gates became a billionaire. Tony became a billionaire because they impact millions of people. Steve Jobs, billions of people, right? If you can provide value to 1 billion people, they all give you like $1, you'll be a billionaire, right? So money is not evil. It's just the love of money is, but money is either good or bad. It's just gonna show you more of who you are.
True.
So the way that we can shift our mindset is we need to think, how can I contribute? How can I how much can I give? How much can I provide value? So that way, and how can I scale that? So that way we can get more to come flow. We'll get in the flow, and the flow will come our way. And that's how you get financial freedom. Okay. The other thing is the wealthy, they know how to leverage. Okay. We can only do so much. We also do so much by ourselves. We can honestly go so far by ourselves. But if we want to go really far, we got to leverage other people, time, energy, money, property, right?
Right.
In our case, property, right? And then we leverage, and then we providing amazing jobs to the community, to my team. It's a win-win-win for everybody. Economy's booming, you know. So we are not helping anybody by constricting, right? By thinking small. No. Does anybody help anybody by thinking small out there? I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
But we can help a lot of people when we think big, when we become bigger than ourselves, when we step out of our comfort zone, and when we really in the zone, and we really embody our confidence that I can do this, I can take care of our family, I can make things happen. Okay. And it's all start with your physiology, your mindset, your emotion, and then everything else will be in the flow.
Right. I love that. Well, in terms of working with people, what does that even look like? Like is it just you working with them one-on-one? Is it a group coaching program? Is it a kind of a program that they take themselves through online? What do you offer in terms of supporting clients?
Absolutely. So I believe in mentorship a lot, right? I took a ton of courses. I love all the course, great information. Seminar events, all of that too. But at the end of the day, if I don't have somebody that hold me accountable, if I don't have a mastermind group, this is my tribe. And if I don't have a weekly thing where I show up and get coaching when I need it, then that did not work for me, right? So coming from my experience, then I was like, with all that experience, over $200,000, I was like, how can I design this so that it's give you ample support, and then you get as needed, one-on-one coaching as needed, as much as you need it, Wouldn't you say that would be the most valuable thing, if you have somebody like holding your hands and whenever you needed it to make things happen, right?
Totally.
So I designed this so that you have lifetime access to all the online modules, all the everything updated, so you can learn it at your own pace, and that's really helped you as well with your mindset, and anybody out there with the mindset module on there as well. And then I do have group coaching up to 4 times a week as well. So it's a lot. It's Monday through Thursday. So there's a group coaching every day. So there's no excuses, right?
Right.
So I can't make it Monday. Okay, well you can make it tomorrow, right? So I want to eliminate all the excuses. So they show up to group coaching, and then they mastermind with a lot of like-minded people. And everyone, we have to go through an interview process to make sure it's a good fit. We vetted them, make sure that in the right mindset, and how you can contribute to the mastermind. It's not just what you can get out of it, but what you can contribute into the mastermind, right? So it really is an amazing group of people that have a wide variety of background, a lot, many experiences, successful, but some of them have 100 properties. I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. I want to, do it for my 100 properties. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. So that's, so it's crazy, but it's awesome at the same time. And then you do have one-on-one coaching support as needed with our coaches, amazing people, right? And then if they couldn't answer it, I'm there to help them as well. So I feel like, I can give as much support as I can to anybody to be able to eliminate all the excuses and take massive action and make things happen, right?
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. For those that maybe are still just, I got to imagine people are, if they're, to your point, maybe they're burnt out on their corporate job. This all sounds really, really good to them, but they're scared. Is there any type of guarantee that you offer, anything that they can do to eliminate or minimize some of the fear that they've got?
Yeah, great question. So the biggest fear, I think, when you do any kind of Airbnb or anything is, what if nobody booked my place, right?
Yeah.
And then you gotta pay for the rent, the mortgage, whatever, right? So our guarantee is if you follow our steps and you get a property up and running live, and if you don't get any booking within the first 30 days, we will pay you that lease amount for the first month. So
That's
you got
cool.
no risk.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
What are the risks? The worst case is I will pay you that first month, and then you just get out of there, find another property. We help you off that. And then it's all good. You don't really lose anything, right? And then the best case is you have a gold mine, a money machine that give you cash flow, like about 2K a month on average we're making per property.
Yeah.
So just ask yourself, how many of those do you need to really live financially free?
Right.
Then how many of those you need to help your family to live financially free?
Right.
So our average students do about 2 a month, right, to set up. So the beautiful thing about it, once it's set up, it's done. So if you do 2 a month, within only 3 months, you have 6. And if you're making $2,000 on each property, that's $12,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And most people could literally quit their job with $12,000 a month.
Right.
Now, you want a little bit more, just do another 3 months of that, and you got 24,000.
Right.
Probably 99% of people out there with $24,000 a month on almost passive income.
Yeah.
Live a financial freedom life, right?
Right. How long does it take them to get into, positive? Because I imagine it probably costs like 5 to 10 grand to furnish a corporate house, like obviously you have to put up some money on that as well. So it takes some time. And so you have to have some, everyone has a freaking credit card, right? But so if there's a will, there's a way. But how do you go about managing growing without going too far into debt while you're also paying down that debt, unless you have a lot of cash? Yeah.
So I have developed some personal relationship with an amazing corporate housing furniture rental. So you can actually rent the furniture for only like, $500, $600, $700 a month, whatever it is. They move in, they move out for you as well. So it's cool. A ton of time. And then your startup capital is just first month rent and first month deposit. Usually about 5K, 6K, depending on where you are in the country. Yeah. And plus another, I say $700, $800, let's say $1,000 for the furniture. So your total startup cost is about $6,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
Making 2K a month, how long will it take for you to make your money back?
I mean, depending on how many houses you have, a couple months, if that, right?
Right. About 3 months on average, right?
Yeah.
So within 3 months, you're making money back. So what's the return on investment over a year?
Right.
That's about 400% return on the money, cash on cash return, right? I mean, where else can people make 400% return on their money, starting out with only 6, 7K?
Yeah, unless you got into crypto 10 years ago,
right.
But you've already missed that one.
Right.
But that's cool. That helps answer my question. And compare that to what buying a home, putting 20% down, having to do all that, and then you're on the hook for the mortgage, and you're having to furnish everything, right? So that's
exactly. Plus, another strategy I'd like to say is like the infinite return strategy, where you can actually manage property for the people, or maybe like co-hosting using your skill set, and you can just do that for people, and you charge 20% is the 20 to 30% is the national industry standard, okay, of the gross, okay. So a lot of people just don't want to do this themselves, but they can pay you to do it. And you don't have to put any money down, right? So that's what I call like the infinite return strategy. You just, learn the skill set, guys. The most important investment you can make is in yourself. That's Warren Buffett. Okay, that's not coming from me. That's coming from the best investor of our time, Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
The very best investment you can make is in yourself, guys. Why? Because that will yield you 100x, 1,000x return over the next 40, 50 years. Okay. So, and it's compounding on itself, right?
Right. Well, let me throw this one at you too. What if someone has their day job and they love it, but they don't make a whole lot of money? Maybe they're a teacher and they don't get nearly paid as much as they should, but they love this idea of adding some additional income, but they don't really have the time. Is it something where you or your team or someone, could they outsource the management of it? Or something like that, where they could still have their job, but still have someone actually property manage it for them?
Yeah, I got you. So that's why our program is established, is for busy professional, because that's when I was like, how did I do it? When I was, going crazy, right? Going nuts, working 50, 60 hours a week.
Right.
So I was like, how did I do it? Right. And then I fine-tuned it out to just boil it down to the very simple steps. Here's what you need to do. Here's all our templates. Here are all the spreadsheets, all the steps. Just follow the blueprints. It saves you a ton of time, right? And a ton of money, a ton of mistakes. Okay. A ton of frustration. Yes, you can do it yourself. Yes. It will just cost you 10 times longer, cost you 10 times more, 10 times more frustration, right?
Yeah.
But why just take this is like the Ferrari to where you want to go. Just jump in and get there, right?
Yeah.
And almost like I love Tesla, so it's probably almost like a Tesla, because you just kind of drive you there too. You just kind of monitor it a little bit. So it's only take a few hours a week, really. If you don't have 5 to 10 hours a week for your dreams and your goals, then you're not a good fit.
Right. Got to be able to make some of that time outside of work. Got to put in a little bit of a side hustle for sure.
Yeah. 5 to 10 hours a week. That's it.
Yeah. And then if you're making good money, and you can at that point choose if you want to keep your job or leave it, right?
Yeah. Then you actually have freedom of choice,
Yeah.
And then you actually show up differently. You show up more, what can I do for you?
Right.
It's just, how can I pay the bills? So how can I take care of my family this month?
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, if someone is listening and they want to get started, what could they kind of get or jump into working with you? Is it one-on-one coaching? Like I said, is it a mastermind? Is it just setting up a call with you? What's like the next step for them?
Yeah, the next step is to look me up at Dr. Chau BNB. So DrChauBNB. I'm all on like all the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And then learn a lot of free content. If this free content make you money, great, go for it. I wish you the best, right? Use it. Right now, for those of you who are more serious, that want more, to get there a lot faster, then we do have a special mastermind that you can apply for. We can't take on everybody, because we don't have limited. There's a lot of one-on-ones, so there's only a certain amount that we can take on per week. And then if it's a good fit, then apply. And then we can do an interview with our team, with our advisors, and then go from there. And if it's not a good fit, no worries. I wish you the best. Just use my free stuff, make a ton of money, retire. Tell me your story. If you use my free stuff and got financial free from this, man, that would make me so happy.
Yeah. That's awesome. So getting started with more or less going to either your website or going to any of your social media, which you said was Dr. Chau BNB, which is possible, like bed and breakfast or Airbnb. And they can connect with you there. And I'm sure there's plenty of links to kind of see what the next steps would be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And there's also a special link for Johnny King's peeps. that you can apply for the masterminds.
Cool.
To that link too. Yeah.
Cool. I'll put that in the show notes, as well as description on YouTube and everything else. But dude, this is so helpful. It's a great, again, without feeling like I'm drinking from a fire hose. It's not overwhelming. It's like, okay. I think, I'm just imagining putting myself in the shoes of those that are listening. Like, I think I could do this. This is, you've kind of taken out all the big barriers, like you said, like, well, I don't have $200,000. Well, you don't need it. I don't have tons of time. Well, you don't need it. It's a really cool system and a really cool story of how you've gotten to where you are now, and you're turning it into a life of giving back, like you said, contribution, which is really the most fulfilling, right? Yes. So it's really, really cool. Well, very cool that you were able to buy your parents their dream home. That's amazing to pay them back. They took the risk, and did it for you guys, and you're able to repay them. I think that's kind of the sweetest part of the whole story,
Yes, so exactly. And I actually can be there with them. right?
Yeah.
I just had lunch with them today, every day.
That's awesome.
We
Yeah.
see them every day. So we're, and that's the most important thing,
Yeah.
right? Is the time with your loved one, because those memories, when we're gone, guys, all that's left is the memories that we take with us, right? So that's what freedom is all about. And I wish you guys the best with that, and hopefully you can get there as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, Dr. Chau, thank you so much for being on. I know we've kind of just scratched the surface in many regards, because we could go and really geek out about this stuff. So maybe we'll do another call and do like Airbnb arbitrage 202 version versus this being the 101 version. But I think this is a great first step, just kind of getting people familiar with who you are and your story and your sense of integrity and kind of how you built this business. But just thanks for being on, man. Thanks for being honest and vulnerable and sharing some of the tips and secrets. I'm just looking forward to continuing the conversation and maybe jumping into one of your programs myself. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys. Much love, peace, and live with passion.
Amen. Amen to that. You guys just go, especially on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, look up Dr. Chau. Like I said, it's Dr. Chau. So DrChaubnb, or drchauong.com. You'll be able to find him, obviously, all over the social media, all over the internet. Just connect with him, follow his free content, start to implement what he's doing. Let that be the convincing, first steps for you before you, just create a new life. And that's what really all it is about, becoming the king of your own kingdoms and living a life of abundance and giving back. So thank you again, Dr. Chau. Appreciate it so much. Guys, we'll catch up with you on the next episode of the Becoming Kings podcast. Take care.
Take care.